benchmarks and safety nets. To illustrate how to mitigate risk, allow me to take you on a deep dive into what we did at SAGIA. When I assumed my public service role, I knew we would need to take big risks. I knew as well that we would very likely ruffle some feathers. So we had to pursue intelligent risk from day one. One of the first, and most important, things we did was to establish a benchmark against which to measure ourselves. We wanted to position SAGIA as a world-class and exemplary public institution. So we choose a standard. In this case, the European Foundation for Quality Management, EFQM, as a way to measure our performance, organization, and capabilities against a set of well-understood best practices. And we set about bringing our teams up to and above that standard. The EFQM model became our comprehensive framework for assessing areas where we could improve. This benchmarking model is based on the practical experience of organizations across Europe, in both the private and public sectors, and on the concept that an organization will achieve better results, better risk management, and better governance through the continuous improvement of processes. Point 7 by EFQM standards. Organizations that are deemed excellent achieve and sustain outstanding levels of performance that meet or exceed the expectation of all their stakeholders. The basic concepts of excellence that the EFQM recommends companies use are as follows: adding value for customers, understanding, anticipating, and fulfilling customer needs, expectations, and opportunities, creating a sustainable future, having a positive impact on the world around them by enhancing their performance while simultaneously advancing the economic, environmental, and social conditions of the communities they touch, developing organizational capability, effectively managing change within and beyond organizational boundaries, harnessing creativity and innovation, generating increased value and levels of performance through continual improvement and systematic innovation by harnessing the creativity of their stakeholders, leading with vision, inspiration, and integrity. The leader shapes the future and makes it happen, and acts as a role model for values and ethics. Managing with agility demonstrates the ability to identify and respond effectively and efficiently to opportunities and threats. Succeeding through the talent of people, valuing people and creating a culture of empowerment for the achievement of both organizational and personal goals. Sustaining outstanding results, achieving and sustaining results that meet both the short and long-term needs of all their stakeholders within the context of their operating environment. 8. These concepts are underpinned by a set of strict measurement criteria that allow organizations to assess their performance. For each award category, EFQM assessors allocate points to arrive at a total score out of a possible maximum 1,000 points. The score of the EFQM Excellence Award winners in the past few years had been in the range of 660 to 740. SAGIA's ambition was to score 700 or above to position the organization among the top EFQM award winners globally. Point 9 By benchmarking our performance against this model and assessing the organization on a holistic, 360-degree basis, we were able to achieve several things at once. We created good governance, increased transparency, and improved efficiency. But we went even further. As an entrepreneurial organization, perhaps our wisest investment at SAGIA was in a chief governance officer. Her job was to raise risk management to the level of a high art by identifying risk areas and implementing policies and procedures to mitigate against them. She had to build in checks and balances, audits, and risk reviews and understand the forms and colors of risk. She had to make sure that financial reporting systems were totally transparent, of course, but her job was also to provide an institutionalized approach for identifying, assessing, managing, and controlling potentially damaging events or situations. For example, she understood that high levels of red tape within an organization created more opportunities for corruption. One of the products of bureaucracy is what I like to call Mr. Fix-It. Mr. Fix-It is someone who can grease palms and get a certain piece of red tape resolved in exchange for a bribe. We did 3 things to deal with Mr. Fix-It. First, we created transparency by automating as much as possible. This is the advantage of our digital world. Second, we created incentives for the staff. The more transactions they processed via the automated systems and the more they reduced red tape and traffic, the more money people made without being tempted to work with Mr. Fix-It. Third, we reinforced our principles and values through constant communication of roles, responsibilities, and rules. We concentrated on raising staff awareness by constantly educating them about the danger of conflicts of interest. We wanted to do more than verbally warn people against corruption. We carefully trained people on our policies, procedures, and organizational culture. For example, one of SAGIA's values was integrity, one of the 5 values of Omnipreneurship. We embedded this value in the recruitment process to ensure the integrity of every newcomer. We performed due diligence by carefully checking each candidate's references, and required all new employees to sign full disclosure forms to prevent conflict of interest. 10. Anyone who breached our integrity requirement was instantly fired. Of course, part of building in safety nets is to make sure that any agreements with collaborators and partners get firmly cemented, in detail and in writing. This is part of Golden Rule 4. Collaborate to accelerate, as explained in Chapter 6. Ultimately, intelligent risk is about navigating well. You want to enjoy the voyage, but also ensure that all the equipment works beautifully. In applying the 10 Golden Rules, you will be living your life out loud and in a bigger way than you might otherwise. This means that you will be taking on more risk, because you are moving into uncharted territory. But don't be frightened. Just make sure the risks you take are intelligent ones. Intelligent risk means that you have a set of safety valves and safety nets in place. Clearly communicate your values and your strategy. Clearly define your own and others' roles and responsibilities. Establish a clear understanding with partners. Design organically and manage the pace of growth. Equip the people who are helping you with what they need to excel. Are energetic and attentive. Know when to stay the course, when to double down, and when to cut your losses.